All right, so for this review, should we go red or yellow? Red or yellow?
Let's just go already.
Yeah. Welcome to the Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
We are back home after seeing quite possibly one of the greatest love letters to comic book movies and comic book fans ever.
Or at least a subsection of them.
Yeah, so we just got out of seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. This is going to be our spoiler-free review, which is going to be weird because it's going to be really hard to talk about some aspects of this movie without diving into the spoilers. So, to help appease both us wanting to talk about it and you, the viewer, not wanting to hear it in this, let's talk about some spoilers without talking about the spoilers. Dude, when Wolverine did that one thing, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was also cool when in response, that one person showed up.
Yeah.
And they did their thing from the thing that you knew them from.
Yeah.
That was crazy. And then also on top of that, this person showed up and you never expected to see them actually being that person, but there they were.
Yeah, and like the fact that they managed to get what's that person's name from way back when in this?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a game changer.
Or that one guy who was there and then you thought, but then it was crazy.
Man, this movie was wild. And then that one fight that was like completely like, it felt like it was one take like side thing, kind of gave me vibes of like, kind of like the Daredevil hallway fight.
Yeah.
Or Old Boy 2003, the hammer fight of him in the hallway. That was amazing.
You know what's hilarious is if you've actually seen the movie, we actually did just spoil everything.
Yeah, this actually did make some sense, but. So that's enough of that. Let's get into this. For me, I've been a comic book fan since like 5th grade. I've grown up on loving comic books and comic book media, the movies. I remember being a little kid playing with my action figures and imagining at that time what an X-Men movie would look like. And it always like started off with Wolverine because why not? Wolverine is the X-Man.
Yep.
And it was so much fun coming up with scenarios and stories on my own. And the fact that this movie is essentially what my little kid memory of playing with these, making up stories was, I loved it. I was giddy with glee.
This really was taking your action figures and just pew, 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 mashing them together and doing the fun thing. Except if your childhood brain was a twisted adult brain who's gotten used to seeing a bunch of nasty stuff in movies.
First of all, I love the fact that it feels like Kevin Feige just was completely like hands off when they were talking to.
Usually is.
Well, specifically here, because this is like the first R-rated MCU movie, and the fact that it was essentially, if you've seen like any of like the press junkets, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have told this story a lot, that Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy were supposed to be meeting with Kevin Feige about what proposed ideas they have, and they really didn't know until like on the way to the meeting, Hugh Jackman called them out like, hey, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's our idea. That's what we're doing. And Kevin Feige's like, boom, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
So, I mean, as far as like the shtick of Deadpool, it is more of the same of Deadpool. What you've come to love about Deadpool in the first two movies, you're getting more of that in the third one. They did not hold back on the Deadpoolness in this third outing, just because the company who's running it has sort of changed. Sort of.
Yeah.
But that being said, if there's certain aspects of Deadpool that you didn't like before, you're going to continue to not like them now.
Let's rephrase this another way. Those of y'all that are fans of this channel and know that I love horror movies and gore, and he does not.
I do not like
Chris. How did you like certain scenes in this movie?
If I'm rating this on a, if you don't like gore, do you want to watch this movie? If I'm rating it on that schedule on that,
schedule works.
It's a 0 out of 10.
I would say there's at least 2 very strong scenes in this that if you don't like gore,
Yeah.
but they're like quick and well,
They are played comedically, and it's way rougher than the first 2 movies in terms of the gore side of things. So just getting that out of the way first. Again, for those of y'all out there who are like me, don't like this stuff in movies, those aspects I wasn't really having fun with, and I know, you little baby, whatever.
I loved it. So
on the other hand, if you really like that stuff, you're gonna have a fun time.
Can't wait for Terrifier 3 this fall.
Oh God.
Yeah. So aside from that, again, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, this is what they were meant to do. This is the one thing that I would say really was missing from like X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I know we got like a little bit of the back and forth, like Bub, do you ever shut up?
Yeah.
Not while I'm awake or whatever. Like, that was great. It was cool to see that. But this is what anyone who is a comic book fan wanted to see. And it succeeded. A lot of the stuff in here, especially like some of the climatic stuff at the end, I was tearing up. Here's the thing. As a kid, I was a little nerd. I was a dork. I was made fun of in school.
As a kid?
Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you. Nice segue. As an adult, I look back on that. I was like, you know what? I loved what I loved. And I see things now like on social media saying like, yeah, real men don't cry. Screw you. Real men cry. And I had a fun time with this movie. And I was wanting to tear up because of how glorious it was seeing this on the big screen.
I teared up at that movie Young Woman in the Sea the other day. I watched on Disney Plus.
See? So, yeah, movies make you feel feelings, yo.
Yeah.
People feel feelings. We're all human. So I loved that about this movie, that it really struck that kind of a chord with me.
Yeah. Other aspects of this, look, as far as the comedy goes, again, it's Deadpool. It's classic Deadpool comedy. It's what you come to love about the character. The jokes are very irreverent, and there's a lot of really good humor at Marvel Studios' expense. It's just just things I didn't even think that they would actually tackle and go after. I was like, that's hilarious. So on that aspect, very, very much approved the level of humor in this movie.
Mm-hmm. And that being said, carrying on with that, obviously y'all know that this movie is a transitional movie to talk about what 20th Century Fox had originally made.
Which they did a lot. They had Fantastic Four. They had X-Men. They had Daredevil.
Yeah, there are a bunch of characters and nods, not only just to, like, say, 20th Century Fox, but I feel like there's references to everything from Marvel Comics. And I love how all of that played into this. Again, making this like one of the ultimate comic book movies, I would say, since Endgame. I know Spider-Man No Way Home did a lot of talking about at least the movies. That one was more focused on the movies themselves.
Yeah.
This one I feel like was, again, more not just the movies, but also the comics.
Yeah.
So different aspects in there. If you're a lover of the comic books, you're going to love some of the stuff they did in there. There's a couple of things like towards the beginning of the story just really starting to pick up that I was dumbfounded. I was like speechless that they showed that they went there, because this movie is made by people who absolutely love the source material, and it showed on that screen. Oh, it's amazing. Just chef's kiss.
And then, like, listen, as far as the story goes, here's the thing. The movie's called Deadpool and Wolverine. The story is Deadpool and Wolverine. Basically, it is essentially a buddy road trip kind of a movie, more or less. It's kind of something that we heard it being described as when they were making it, but seeing it on screen, it very much comes across that way. It is, Deadpool and what he's going through with, this Wolverine and what he's going through, and them kind of being together essentially finally after all these years. That being said, as far as story goes, it's not the thickest storyline. It's kind of thin. It's very thin in places, and a lot of it really is just a vehicle to get Deadpool and Wolverine to go places and do things and hang out and all the stuff that they did in the movie.
Different situations with different characters.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, and that's what I would say was my one negative about this is, yeah, the story just really doesn't have that much meat on it. But that being said, neither do the other two Deadpool movies. I mean, the first movie is really, really simple. It really is everything on that highway, flashbacks to what's happened before, and then he goes to find Ajax. That's it.
Francis.
That's it. That's the first movie. The second movie is him just trying to outrun Cable and take care of Fire Fist.
X-Force.
Yeah, that's it. That's roughly all that movie is.
Yeah.
It's nothing that big or weighty or anything. So it kind of fits. But yeah, it is a simple story, but it works cuz it's what you were expecting anyways.
Yeah, and for me, I think, you know, it plays exactly what it needed to do for me to have a pretty decent amount of enjoyment of it. Again, like, obviously there are certain aspects of the movie that just don't vibe or gel with me, and those aspects will probably keep me from watching it again, if I'm being honest. But if I'm going to rate completely off of just the initial viewing, I would say I had a pretty decent fun time with it.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of aspects to enjoy about it. A lot of things I can't say in a non-spoiler review that are very enjoyable about it. But I will say, you know, it kind of goes both. I see some people saying like it's one of the best comic book movies. It's one of their favorite comic book movies. It's one of MCU's best or whatever. And I see other people saying, you know, it's soulless. It's it's not necessarily heartless, but this and that. And I will be honest, I'm telling you, I can see both sides of it. I understand why both sides say what they do. So I'm very much a fence sitter on this one. People will be like, oh, pick a side. Whoa.
That's okay.
I get it.
I think I'll make up for that
Yeah.
as far as this channel goes. Real quick, just breaking it down. Sean Levy did a fantastic job on this. Again, this is like his third movie that he's made with Ryan Reynolds. So I want to see more. I want to see what else Sean Levy can do with like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I don't mean to make this sound bad or discredit him and what he did with this movie. I want to see him do something when Ryan Reynolds is also not at the helm of the movie. Like this, Ryan Reynolds had a major part of controlling this movie. So I want to see Sean Levy branch out from that and do something else with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I think he did well. Ryan Reynolds, again, Deadpool is the role he was born to play.
Yeah, he really shouldn't be playing any other superhero.
Yeah, no.
That's it.
I loved him in this. More of the same from him. And the interactions between him and Hugh Jackman felt very genuine because they are friends in real life.
And then, of course, Hugh Jackman is to Wolverine what literally Robert Downey Jr. was to Iron Man. He is that character. You know, when on screen. Obviously, off screen, he's definitely not Logan at all. He's completely opposite. But he embodies that character so well, though. And, you know, whether we get more of him or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if they do more, I can see them doing something fun with it. If not, I'd say this is a pretty fair send-off.
Yeah, I love that they brought him back from Logan because there was definitely more that they needed to do with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine before the reins potentially get passed off to another actor if they, depending on what they do with X-Men in the MCU.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that they were actually able to do that. For example, putting him in the yellow costume. I don't want to see anyone else do that before Hugh Jackman does it because he's earned that. And there's more stuff that they do in this movie that he also has earned the right to do first. And after this, I can't really think of too much more I need to see from a Hugh Jackman Wolverine.
Yeah.
I think they nailed a lot of it with this movie. Other shout out, Emma Corrin. They did a fantastic job playing Cassandra Nova, and I love what they did with it because I'm not that familiar with the character from the comics. I kind of stopped reading around the time of that story, the X for Extinction. But I feel like what I did know of the character, they nailed in this movie. They didn't go too much into the actual lore of who Cassandra Nova is in the comic book world, because that's just nerd stuff all over the place.
Yeah, it's a little much.
Cassandra Nova's a mama dry. Yeah, I'm not explaining that.
Sure.
But yeah, not exactly like a flat-out twin.
Right.
But I think Emma Corrin, again, they did a fantastic job with this role. Nice character arc to Nova.
Yeah, I mean, all around...
like talking and breaking because I'm trying to like rethink everything I can and can't say before it exits my mouth.
Yeah, there's just... and that's the big thing. There's just so
if
much...
only people on Twitter would do that.
There's so many aspects of this movie that you really just can't do in a spoiler review. But the fact remains, it's, you know, again, you love Deadpool, you're probably going to love this movie. If you don't like Deadpool... you're probably not interested in a third one to begin with. I mean, maybe the Wolverine of it all gets you there, but for the most part, this is, you know, Deadpool's the first name on the title. This is the third movie in the Deadpool trilogy, so you get what you get.
Anyways, so that's gonna wrap it up for us discussing it. What are you gonna rate it?
I'm probably sitting around a 6.5, 7 for me.
Fair enough.
Out of 10.
I will go ahead and say that I'm going to actually call this probably a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
If this isn't my favorite movie of the year, I'll be impressed. I know there's a couple other movies that I am really super psyched for that could potentially push that, but this is gonna be hard to beat for me.
Yeah.
So 9 out of 10 for me as well. Anyways, what did you think of this movie? Let us know down below in the comments. At least for a while, if you're watching this within like during the opening weekend, please try not to say spoilers down there. We're going to do our best. If you're putting spoilers down there, I'm probably going to delete those comments so it doesn't affect anyone else.
So just don't bother to begin with, because you're just wasting your time and ours.
Yeah, and you're probably just pissing someone off, and we don't need to be doing that. So, so let us know your thoughts on the movie. Let us know your thoughts on this review down below in the comments. While you're down there, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. We got more stuff coming on this channel. I know it's been kind of slow lately, but we're going to try to ramp this right back up to where it should be. So make sure you follow us on social media. We are at The Cinefanatics on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me personally at RCA Reacts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, and also youtube.com/@RCA
And you can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, as well as twitch.tv/Chris Adams MLP.
Anyways, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you for watching this. We will see you on the next one. Now, let's go eat dinner, because it's late.
I'm hungry.